Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to do the analysis of Tanla Solutions. This is going to be pretty interesting. Sector in which this company operates is very futuristic. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you can follow me on Telegram channel as well. Let's get started. So Tanla Solutions is a Hyderabad based company. It is into the CPaaS space. It started off as a mobile messaging platform and now it is into the CPaaS business. It has about 42% market share in the platform business and about 30% market share in the enterprise business. So it's the market leader in this segment in India. It processes about 800 billion transactions annually and there are more than 1300 customers, and recently the company has made two key acquisitions which are Wisely and Trubloq. So let's talk about the management of the company. The CEO and the founder of the company is Mr. Uday Kumar Reddy. He is the MBA from Manchester Business School, UK, and he is also a part of M&A community and does a lot of, is quite active in the mergers and acquisition space. A brief history about the company. It is very important to know as this stock was once a penny stock and now it has been hitting upper circuits for a long period of time and has created immense wealth for its shareholders. So it started off as a telecom solutions provider for the mobile operators as well as the handset manufacturers. And once Nokia was one of the biggest customers of this company, but when Nokia started to underperform and led to the downfall of Nokia, that affected this company's revenues drastically. And during those times, there were also questions raised by different investors about the certain corporate governance and accounting issues of this company also. So because of all these situations, the stock started underperforming and later it became a penny stock. In fact, during those times, the results of this company also were pretty bad. Later in 2015 onwards, the results started to improve and it kind of became a turnaround story. And later the company also made certain key acquisitions as we have discussed and came into more notice after Route Mobile was listed, which is also into the same business. Now let's understand what is CPaaS. CPaaS is communication platform as a service. So what this company does is they provide a communication platform to different enterprises who already use certain applications. So by using their platform, the features of chatting, having a voice conversation, video conferencing, all these kinds of features which are cloud-based features get added to that company's existing applications. So this is kind of a regular need for almost all the companies in India, especially post-COVID. So this get integrated using the APIs, and then the application becomes an application which provides real-time communication within the organization and also with the different stakeholders of the organization. So for that company, there is no need to build any infrastructure and they can directly subscribe to the platform and integrate that platform with the existing applications. So one of their main key acquisitions was Wisely. So Wisely is a CPaaS platform which enables private, secured and trusted communications within and outside different organizations. Under Wisely, they have 4 patents and this is also a partnership with Microsoft to sell this product. Another important product which this company has is Trubloq. So Trubloq helps mobile users to block different spam messages, calls and other communications. It is the world's first blockchain enabled CPaaS stack and it is used by more than 50,000 enterprises worldwide. And in terms of volume, the market share is about 62%. There are 270 billion interactions already processed through Trubloq and 5 out of 7 telecompanies use this product. In UAE, there are 2 telecom companies and both the companies use Trubloq. What are the key achievements of this company? I am highlighting these achievements in this video so that you can understand the business with these examples much better. Recently, you have observed while we used CoWIN sites, there were a lot of OTPs generated. All those OTPs were processed through the platform of Tanla Solutions. Axis Bank adopted their platform to enable their users to create paperless online term deposits, which helped them increase their business by more than 18%. So Tanla has helped implementing new spam policy in UAE. So in India, other than India, they have business presently in the UAE and now they are looking at expansion in other countries. For Panasonic, they have implemented a system wherein the company can give customer service through WhatsApp, and Paisabazaar, which is the largest lending platform in India, is also their client. So by this you can understand what kind of products they implement and who are their clients. If you see the revenue share from platform business, they get about 25% and enterprise business 75%. Now, what is platform business? Whatever revenue which they get, which is not linked to the usage by the customer, it is called platform revenue. And for enterprise business, whatever is usage based revenue, it comes under the enterprise business. Now let's understand how the CPaaS industry is growing in India as well as globally. Globally, the industry is estimated to reach a size of about $47 billion by 2023. In India, it is about $1.1 billion by 2023. So it's going to reach a substantial size to create a good market for these kind of companies. Post-COVID, you can see a couple of trends, like a lot of companies are going for digitalization, as well as since people are working from home remotely within India and globally, they are adopting the CPaaS platforms and implementing in their own organizations. Increase in the smartphone user base also increases the business for such companies, and people are looking for specific targeted communication which is personalized, that also creates demand for such products. In future, there is a prediction that 90% of the organizations will be using some or the other CPaaS platform. Who are the competitors of this company? In India, there's a competitor which is in the listed space, that is Route Mobile, and other competitors globally are Cinch, Infobip, Twilio, ValueFirst, CarixM, and Exotel. What are the competitive strengths of this company with its peers? This company has domain expertise in whatever product they have developed. They are market leaders in India. The customers which they serve have strong relationships with them, so it's not easy to take away the customers from them. In the CPaaS space, this is the only company which has touch point in all the services which are required under this space. In terms of profitability and growth, as of now, in the last couple of years, if you see, they are industry leading. Their business model is an asset-light business model which does not need much of capital, and hence they have very high margins in business. They keep innovating new products, they keep acquiring new companies, and as we have discussed, it's a high margin business which is growing very rapidly. In India, if you see industry-wise, in banking and e-commerce, almost 9 out of 10 companies use their product. In financial service and IT sector, about 8 out of 10 companies use their product. In healthcare, consumer goods, social media and retail, about 7 out of 10 companies use their product. In this, we are talking about the top few companies, and from the top 50 customers, they get about 60% of the revenue, and most of their customers are having more than 5 years relationships with them. So this shows the stickiness of their customers. What is the growth strategy of this company in the coming future? Normally in this industry, there's a trend that they calculate the growth rate of revenue plus the EBITDA margin and expect it to be above 40. But for this company, their recent growth rate, if you add their EBITDA margins, is well above 40. In fact, it is more than 60. So they are growing faster than the industry standard. They are trying to develop a one platform strategy to provide all the services or products which they are looking for, which their clients are looking for, and they want to create a niche in the global market going further. They will continue their acquisitions as they have done recently in future also, and they will also partner with new companies like Microsoft. Their platforms are cloud-based and scalable, so they don't need much of capital to scale their business, and globally they are already present in UAE and they will be expanding in other countries as well. In the H1 of FY22, they have added 160 new customers. So with this number, you can see the pace at which they are growing their business. What are the risks which this company might face? Geographically, as of now, their business is concentrated in India, which is a geographic risk. In terms of competition, there are global companies which are entering India and providing the CPaaS solutions, which is creating a competition risk. As the technology changes, the company has to upgrade their platforms, otherwise they become obsolete. If at all their client industry, which are the mobile carriers and all, get affected or get consolidated, then their business might be affected. A risk of cybersecurity is always there to protect their clients' data as well as their own data. And there could be regulatory and legal risks. Now, after understanding the business model and the other aspects, let's come to the financial analysis. In the financial analysis, we'll start with the quarterly results, which is Q2 FY22 versus Q2 FY21. Revenue has grown drastically from 583 crores to 841 crores, which is up by 44%. EBITDA has grown from 98 to 179, which is up by 83% year on year. Profit after tax has grown from 82 crores to 136 crores, which is about 67% up. EBITDA margins have improved from 16.7 to 21.2, and profit after tax has improved from 14% to 16.2% margin. If we see the 5 years revenue CAGR, it is about 42%, which is a very good number, and they have clocked a turnover about 2,341 crores in FY21. EBITDA is growing at a CAGR of 67%, but if you see in FY21, which is the 435 crores, this itself has led to increase in the average growth of EBITDA. Profit after tax is not so consistent, as in FY20 they made a loss of about 211 crores, and in FY21 it jumped to 356 crores. So we have to wait and see what would be the normal profit as they perform in the coming couple of years. Now coming to the balance sheet items, the equity is slightly increasing from 11 crores to 15 crores, and recently they have done a buyback and the equity has fallen to 14 crores. So there's no consistency in the equity capital. The reserves are steadily growing, although there was a dip in FY20 because of the loss which they have incurred, and now the reserves are at about 880 crores. Trade payables have seen a sharp increase to about 500 crores, and they have further increased post FY21 balance sheet also. My question which comes to my mind is that since the company is cash rich and has a lot of cash, normally there should not be so many trade payables piled up. Trade receivables are also drastically growing in terms of revenue. If you see, compared to revenue, if you see, now in FY21 they have about 373 crores of trade receivables, and post 31st March 2021, if you see in the coming quarters, there also the trade receivables are much more. So high trade receivables is also not comfortable sign for any business. Coming to the cash equivalents, the company is cash rich company, and FY21 end of the FY21 they have about 54 crores on the balance sheet. Operating cash flow wise, if you see in FY19 they had a negative operating cash flow, which is not a good number, and in FY21 they made about 561 crores of operating cash flow. Debtor days are 58. Another thought in my mind is, if the debtor days are 58, then there should not be so many debtors or trade receivables piled up in the balance sheet. Dividend yield is about 0.16%, so it's a dividend paying company, although the dividend is less. ROCE and ROE is about 52 and 44%, which are great numbers, and debt equity ratio is 0.04, which is almost a debt free company. There are certain related party transactions in the annual report which makes me a little skeptical, and the auditors of the company are not Big Four, they are MSKA and Associates, which is a Hyderabad based firm. Now let's see the shareholding pattern. The promoters hold about 42.5%, public about 42.5% again. DIIs and FIIs about 1.6 and 13.4%. The promoters have increased their stake recently, and FIIs have also increased a little. Now coming to the valuations part, the last traded price is somewhere around 1236 rupees, 52-week high and low is 300 to 1300. In fact, if you see the last couple of years, the stock has given very good returns. In fact, unbelievable returns for somebody who has bought it at the lower levels. The market cap now has become about 16,800 crores, and it's a face value 1 share, not to face value 10. EPS is about 32 rupees and PE comes to about 38.5. Comparing with another listed company, which is Route Mobile, the PE is about 72. But the company is being given low PE because of certain reasons, a few of which we have discussed already and few will discuss in the coming slides. The median PE of 5 years is 27, book value is 76 rupees. So PB ratio comes to about almost 16. So this, in terms of book value, the valuations are very expensive. Market cap to sales is about 6 times, which is slightly also on the higher side. So valuation wise, as of now, it appears to be a expensive company. Now let's see the chart. The chart has certain abnormal movements. So it is always better to have valuation comfort while buying such companies. So what I normally suggest for such kind of companies is you can slowly accumulate as and when the results are consistent and you get your valuation comfort. But since the chart is very much stretched, it is always advisable to keep a stop loss in such stocks at about 200 DMA, because generally if 200 DMA breaks, there is certain major reason, only then it generally breaks. So this is about Tanla Solutions. To just summarize, it's a high growth sector, so the space is good. It could be a turnaround story, but it is too early to conclude one. The company has made certain key acquisitions in the recent times. It is a market leader in the space which operates in India. It's growing pretty fast if you see the growth rate, and the business is high margin business. They don't have any debt. But if you look at the financials in the recent years, somehow I feel that the financials are too good to be true, and we should wait for the financials and results to get normalized in the coming few years to see the true picture. The history of the company is not very clean, so that is always that is something you should keep in mind. That is why it is not being given equal valuation in compared to its peers. In terms of stock also, if you see, there has been abnormal price movement, so it is a very risky stock to invest or trade with, and only aggressive investors should consider taking position in such stocks. So keep all these factors in mind and take a comfortable decision, and only if you have complete comfort in the business, in the promoters, in the financials which the company is declaring, only then you should be taking position in such aggressive stocks. So this is about Tanla Solutions. I hope you like the analysis. I've tried to give you some hints and bring out some points which are normally not easily visible if you read things elsewhere. Do keep those things in mind and take your wise decision. I hope you like the video. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.